All right, before you fast forward, hear me out. All right, so I am in phase 3 of my Haul Master HarborFreight trailer build for kayaks and bass raiders, etc. Put the frame together, and then I considered what I might do for decking, and then a couple things passed through my mind. I really wanted a deck on there of some sort, and so I got thinking, you know, I've got a handful of treated lumber left over from our farmhouse build. And so I thought, well, let me see how much I got left. And so, you know, that's how much I had left. I had 3 full pieces, 8-foot pieces, and I had a handful of partials. And so what I did is I just positioned them out strategically. So in the first stage of this part, I could get the kayak on there and the bass raider, and it would be stable. And so now I just have 2 more 10-foot boards and 1 8-foot board to go, and then I will finish this deck out. But anyway, so what I did is I had all of these strips that you see here were already in my scrap pile. I didn't even have to. Only thing I had to do to these pieces right here was I had to cut them to length. They were already cut in that width and that thickness. I got some bolts and washers, and I kind of recessed them there, attached them to the frame, and then I used wood screws to attach them to that. Now, there are more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to put decking on these trailers, but this is the way I did it. Please don't hammer me too hard, because look, you know what the price of lumber is these days, and I didn't pay a thin dime more for that so far. So all of this and it's all treated. All of that lumber you see I can't say it was free, because I did pay for it at some point, but I didn't pay the prices that are there under our current political regime. Now, I'll just leave it at that. Now on these, so you'll notice that some of these screw holes kind of like go cockeyed and offset. That's because I was avoiding the recessed bolts down there. Now what I chose to do on this end piece was just avoid it, because when I get over here and I cover that up with a board, then it's not gonna take away from the strength of this decking. Well, that's the status that this trailer is going to be living in for a few days, but I just wanted to do a walk around just to show you what I've done to the trailer so far. Let's start up front with let's start with this lock. You know, I have several locks in my workshop extra, so there's a dedicated lock for this trailer. That's what I'll be using on it at all times. If you'll notice in my past videos, I had a 2x4 treated to take up space there. I went ahead and got some shorter bolts because the bolts that came with this joker right here was way too long for this trailer. So got some 2-inch bolts, and it's perfect. That thing is tight and I like it. So right here what I did is I had some extra cargo straps, winch straps in the workshop as well. So this little guy right here is going to be my dedicated strap for this location. He's always gonna be the one that holds this kayak in place there. I will figure out a way to tuck this in at some point. Let's move on around here. So I had several eye bolts in the workshop, and I chose to use those around here. Now, when it comes time for me to put my treated 2x4s in here, I'll drill a hole through there and keep this eye bolt. But I'm placing it in this position particularly because if you place it like that, then this could work its way naturally up to this position on you, and it could loosen your strap at some point. So I'm placing it in this position specifically for that reason, so that way it won't work into that position anyway. All right, so that's gonna be where my strap is. I just have those there just to hang out, literally, no pun intended. But that's there's no particular function for those at this point, other than to make noise as I go down the road. Same thing there. Again, on the deck part, I didn't have enough scrap treated lumber to finish the deck out, but it's functional, completely functional. That kayak is sitting on decking all the way back and forward, and it's completely strong. Those eye bolts are the same back here. Again, I got those little links just hanging out for no particular reason, because they're noise makers. One other thing that I did do right here on this part of the frame, they included these hitch pins, that's what I call it. And those were to go through there, and they were to be removable. Now, that function is for if you have plans to fold this trailer and store it away. I do not plan to ever fold this trailer, so therefore I felt like this was actually compromising the integrity, the strength of it. So I took those carriage pins out, and I went ahead and put a longer bolt through there, the washer, and I feel like that's going to strengthen this trailer for me. Okay, so you might consider that if you're like me. If you do not have plans to fold it, you might want to do that to add strength. There's really nothing more that I think might add value to your particular build if you decide to do this, other than I just simply am boasting that I was able to use scrap lumber that I had that otherwise would have been burnt or thrown away or rotting in time. But you know, sometimes you do feel good about being able to use that lumber that you've had tucked away. This is one of those times for me. I really do feel good about that. I've decided that in transit, when I'm pulling this boat, I'm not going to let this guy ride on this transom, because I just feel like that in time it's going to loosen, it's going to fail. So I'm going to take this trolling motor off every time that I take it to the water, and then I'll reattach it. It won't take but a few minutes. While I'm on the subject of caution, underneath here where the battery sits, I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. I think that Pelican needs to make that a bit thicker. They need to make it a bit stronger, because that battery's heavy. I don't know exactly how much it weighs, but I personally think that that's going to fail in time. I would even recommend them putting like a aluminum plate there, but you know, that's just my suggestion. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay, and finally, before I let you go, you might remember if you've watched previous videos in this build, I have had this battery hooked up to the fish finder and also to the engine for 2 solid days. Now, the engine wasn't, the trolling motor was not running the entire time, but the fish finder was, and it still is reading as 12.6 cranking amps there. So I am gaining confidence in the life and the strength and the ability of this battery that I purchased, which is it's an EverStart Walmart battery, 109 amp hour, 27 DC battery. I paid about 78 bucks for it, something like that. Now, if this video has been somewhat helpful at all, please give me a thumbs up. Please comment, and please subscribe to the channel. I am learning a lot from YouTube. Thank you to all of you that share your builds. And here's what I've learned about YouTube. Everybody has something to offer. And even if it's not like the entire video is not like the bomb, like, hey, that was a great video, there may be like 15 seconds of it that rings true to somebody and helps them. And that's what I've been really doing, is gleaning a lot of different ideas from a lot of different people. All right, thanks for watching.